Now it comes to the tricky part, to go this street up. Today the wind is everywhere. Even in my most protected beaches and shorelines, there's a lot of waves. On both sides of the island. So I will go to a total different and even for me new place. With this street to this beach, even if it's very protected and it has a very nice entrance, I think this will be the one time only, because going up the street will be a heavy job. The entry area is pleasantly shallow and comfortable. The strong winds that sweeps across the entire island is clearly noticeable here as well, but since it comes from the land and blows over this bay, no significant waves can form. During dressing up, I got a new friend in this beach. Before it was totally quiet, now the big catamaran is here. The only sound you always can hear is of this broken down, whatever it is, building. It's time to take a first look underwater, and thankfully a European fan worm greets me right here in the shallow water in the middle of the bay. The bottom itself is a mixture of sand and mud with smaller and larger stones and, unfortunately, quite a bit of debris. I swim to the right towards the fishing boats anchored there. 4 more European fan worms are growing on the first mooring lines. This shows that very few swimmers pass by this bay. Furthermore, I'm greeted by a school of silver sights. I swim to the next anchored boat. You can see that a lot of algae has already attached itself to this boat hull, and it probably hasn't been used for quite some time. Nevertheless, it's wonderful that these old wooden fishing boats are still being preserved. The sun peeks briefly through the clouds, and I glance back to see how far I have swum. The bottom gets deeper and deeper, the visibility clearer, with boulders alternating with patches of sand. Suddenly, I see something lying among the rocks on the bottom. I dive down to get close to this flatfish. It's quite shy though, and doesn't let me get very close. I follow it for a while because I want to identify the species if possible. It's definitely not a place. I try a second time, but again it swims away immediately. If you like the content of my channel, please like this video and subscribe. A third and final attempt. I can clearly see it's a left-eye flounder, but I'm not entirely sure. It's most likely a white-eyed flounder or turbot. I swim back to the shoreline and immediately encounter another small school of silver sights. I follow the interestingly shaped rock formation to the next bay. Since there's nothing special here, I swim back a little further along at the slightly deeper line. Along the way, I discover an empty octopus cave. Then I follow the underwater path a little deeper before swimming towards the other side of the bay. After a few meters, I came across a pile of many circular objects I can't identify. Obviously, trash. I reach the other side and follow the shoreline. Looking above the water, I can see another group of fishing boats anchored in the shallows. A cloud of dust on the bottom catches my attention. Some creature was just searching for food in the sand here. A striped red mullet sits motionless on a small boulder, trying to camouflage itself by remaining still.
I now arrived in the neighbor bay. This was one of my targets to swim, and another bay is still waiting. I will make the shallow part of this bay now, and then we move on to the second bay I want to go.
If you would like to know more about this dive site, including where exactly it is, check out my Dieter Baumann Patreon page. This boat has a little bit of algae growth, but nevertheless it looks like it's in regular use. I'm not sure if this fish trap is trash or still in use. The boat themselves, with the visible nets on them, are surely in constant use. To my right, something flashes in the water, and I see a small group of needlefish, also called garfish or garpike, swimming by. As I continue swimming, I find one of these circular objects and can investigate it more closely. To me, it looks like a used engine air filter. The filter material itself has long since disintegrated, but the plastic frame will probably last forever. I head back and aim for the large red buoy in the middle of the bay. As I swim towards it, I can hardly believe my eyes. There's a small speedboat lying on the bottom. I first swim to the large buoy to secure my own buoy and inspect the marine growth beneath it. The question I ask myself is, how did these sea urchins get there? But now I want to take a closer look at the small sunken speedboat. It's incredible what you can find on a day of diving. Just surprise. As I dive down, I see 3 or 4 larger striped red mullets on the left rear corner, which immediately take off. The boat itself is made of plastic without a motor or steering wheel and otherwise looks fine and undamaged. Of course, you wonder why someone would think something like that. I dive down again to look at it from the side. It actually looks quite sleek.
The finding of this small sunken motorboat was really a nice hit for today.
I swim to my last destination for the day, the small bay where the catamaran is currently anchored, to take a look at this shallow area. some seagrass and a school of nervous silver sides, and lots of sea urchins in the very shallows.
So second bay reached, program fulfilled, now it goes back. I'm already in a hurry because it's a dark day and it's getting dark soon, and I have this unbelievable strong road to go up. We'll see, and I need daylight for this.
On the way back, there isn't much more to see. The last finds are some metal covers that the storm apparently ripped off these whatever they are buildings and are now lying in the water. You can already tell it's getting dark and the visibility is getting worse as you get shallower.
So, diving finished for today. It was a small little dive, somehow interesting. The only negative thing here is the coming to this place because of this very macadam street. Oh, I'm really afraid going back. I show you some pictures of it.